So in today's video, I'm going to show you how thinking about down, down, and down can help you hit better struck, better flighted, and longer iron shots. So 3 downs, down, down, and down. How can that help you hit better shots? Well, we're going to explain all that in this video and go through exactly what you need to do in order to hit the ball just like the best players out there do. Now, before we get into that video, I just want to bring your attention to a brand new series that I have got on my website, chrisryangolf.com. You can see the information below. It's called Ultimate Ball Striking. It's a 4-part video series, over 60 minutes of content, including drills, tips, talking to you about when to practice, how to practice, some games that can make it fun. I really believe the information within this video series can help you strike the ball much, much better and take your ball striking to the next level. The game, trust me, will be a lot more fun if you can strike it better, and you will shoot lower scores as well. I will leave a link up in the corner, and there's also one down in the description box as well. Love you to head over there, take a look and see if it is of interest to you. Right, as we said, down, down, and down. Now, before we get into that, we're going to talk about the reason this video came about is because a recent lesson or a recent student came in with a few swing ideas. He told me what he was trying to do, and he said something which I do hear quite regularly, and this was the real reason he was playing poor golf. And it got me thinking about advice that gets given across that's really not good. And I'd love you to drop in the comments box and tell me, you know, what advice have you been given that you now know was terrible advice and caused you to, I don't know, regress in your game or caused you to have a bad spell for a couple of weeks or a month. Be interesting to get some feedback as to what that was for you. So what was this golfer telling me? Well, he was basically saying he was trying to take the arms out of the golf swing. He was trying to not use his arms, and the term he used was passive arms. He wanted to have passive arms in the golf swing. He was having passive arms in the golf swing. It was causing him all sorts of issues. So let's just go through kind of what was happening. We were looking at iron swings, and when he went to the top of his golf swing, his lead arm was across his shoulders, as you can see there, and he was actually in a really nice position at the top, you know, organised quite nice, and the top of the backswing was pretty good. But what he did as he started down is he tried to keep his arms very passive, and he started to use a lot of his body. Now, what he effectively did was he kept his lead arm pinned to his chest. Now, as he started to rotate, there was nothing in his arms which created any downward movement. So the way that he started to get his arms to go downwards was actually to move his left shoulder upwards. And you can see how as I start to move my shoulder upwards, the hand starts to go a little bit more downwards. So to get his arms to the golf ball, or the club to the golf ball, he was actually moving his lead shoulder more up. That movement to the lead shoulder going up was causing him to sort of tip back and actually move his weight onto his trail side. And as we got him sort of halfway into his downswing, his lead arm was still very much pinned to his chest. At this point here, it was just incredibly difficult for him to hit good golf shots because he'd just done so many different things in that downswing. He wasn't very organised, and he was then releasing the club incredibly early. And because his weight was on his trail foot, he was often hitting the ground far too much before the golf ball. So having passive arms or taking the arms out of the golf swing rarely ends well. It may well be for some golfers, a small percentage of golfers, it might be a feeling which can help, but the reality is it does not happen. We have to use the arms. So what did I say to him? I said down, down, and down. So we talked about the lead hip, we talked about the lead shoulder, and we talked about the arm. And what I really wanted him to do from the top of his golf swing was I wanted him to move his lead hip down, I wanted him to move his lead shoulder down, and I wanted to move his lead arm down. So what would that look like? So from the top, it was down, down, down. Now, if we look at this delivery position, it was far, far better. He was from here able to then rotate and push up and out, and he was able to hit the ball much more solid, better delivery, less loft on the golf club, more ball speed, more consistent, and better direction as well. It was really helping him control the delivery position. Now, when we look at the best players in the world versus the golfers out there who struggle, and you may well fall into that category at the moment, you might be struggling with your game. The best players, as they transition, the lead hip stays low. It actually moves down. The lead shoulder initially moves down. Yes, at some point it moves up, but in transition it moves down. And relatively early in that downswing, the arm is starting to move down off the chest. Those things are happening. We know that, we can measure it, we've seen it. So the golfers out there, or this golfer, who from the top was trying to keep his arms pinned and take all his arms out of the golf swing, was really causing himself some issues. And like I said at the start, he was actually doing what he was trying to do. He wasn't using his arms in the early part of his golf swing, and because he wasn't using his arms, he had to move other parts of his body in different ways to get the club anywhere near the golf ball. It was causing him some real issues. So what did we have him do? Well, we had him go down, down, down and hit some shots. So we did it in stages. We got him to make a backswing, down with the hip, down with the shoulder, down with the arms. And then from there, I asked him to go ahead and just swing through. And even those shots that were going some 60, 70 yards, we started to see some better things happening. We started to see the attack angle get more negative. Previous to that, he was relatively shallow and he had a lot of loft on the club. So we saw a negative attack angle. We saw the loft on the club reduced. We saw the ball speed wasn't higher on those shots because he was hitting them 80 yards, but we saw the efficiency improve. So the transference of energy from the club to the ball was much, much better because of those things that we've spoken about. And he also found that his club path was a little bit straighter. It wasn't exactly where we wanted it. We had to do a little bit of work on that, but it was much, much better. So the transition was to go from little half swings to then just full swings, but we really had him focus on those three things. Really had him feeling from the top of his golf swing that the arms are going down, the shoulders were going down, and the hip was going down. And that left him in a much, much better place. Now, he felt strange. He felt it very strange movement. He wasn't really comfortable with it. As towards the end of the lesson, he started to be a little bit more familiar with the movements. But it's really understanding how we move our body. And so often on the lesson tee, golfers have been told to do things and they're trying to do those things and it's just holding them back. It's causing them to play terrible golf. And this is a great example of that. And it's really, really important that we have the right ideas and we have the right concepts. And whilst we did some drills with this golfer and we got him to do some drills, I believe that I could have got him to hit the ball much, much better just through a conversation. Just by asking him what he was trying to do and then explaining to him what needed to have happen. He would have just figured out a way to do that. But the main point of this lesson here is he was trying to do the wrong thing. He was doing it and it was causing him terrible golf shots. So lead shoulder down, lead hip down, arms down can really help you hit the ball much more solid. And it is factual, that is what the best players in the world are all doing. Thanks for watching. Usual stuff is down below. Comments box, would love you to drop me a comment down there. Give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and also hit that subscribe button. Would love you to be part of the community and the channel. I really believe these videos can help you play some of your best golf and hit your best shots every single time.